Let me see. Okay, and so we're back, y'all. This is the part two of the discussion. I had to go for a second, but we're gonna pick right up where we left off because the point I was making was about censorship, was about free speech, was about the fissure in the Democratic Party. So let me come back up here real quick because protests at the DNC 2024. Boom. And I want y'all to see that these fools was 6,000 strong, over 6,000 strong. Let me share this right here. Look at this, man. And this is what they were not showing, what they refused to show all over the news. Like, man, this is AP. But why was there a media blackout?
I'm here today because I want the Biden-Harris administration and I want Vice President Harris to know that there are people who are not willing to vote for her if she is going to continue to arm and fund the Israelis and participate in genocide.
Pause that right there real quick. So that right there sums up the whole point. She just said there are people who are willing to not vote for her because they have the stance that they have with Palestine. Now, shout out to Palestine. Palestine's close to my heart. I had some dealings with Palestine back in 2014. That was my introduction because that was when they shot Mike Brown in Ferguson, Missouri was crazy. And it was heating up and the police was out there shooting tear gas and whatnot. At the same time, we were protesting in DC, New York, Chicago, Atlanta, and a few other places. And I remember that the Palestinians reached out to Black Lives Matter, reached out to the Black protesters, and taught us how to deal with tear gas, taught us how to use milk to put a mask on your face, use milk or whatever to protect against the tear gas. And they gave all these other different tips because at that time in 2014, 10 years ago, Israel was doing the same thing to them then that they're doing now on a smaller scale. But they were going in and killing people, snatching people up, arresting folks. They were bombing folks. They cut off the Palestinians' water and the electricity. It was in for weeks. So shout out to that. So these people, and a lot of people, over 6,000 strong, are fed up with funding genocide.
I want to see transgender people be respected for who they are. And I want...
Keep talking real quick. One thing that we got to be honest about, though, is because of this position, you have left-wing people who are not going to vote for Kamala Harris because they're funding genocide. You have... Why was it that short? Okay, anyway. And also, too, you have right-wing people who are upset about the billions of dollars in weapons that are going over to Israel, and they want that money to stay here. So there are a lot of people that have this position and that are upset about this. So let's be honest, y'all, and that's my whole point, because I know the people that watch this show are honest people, they're bright people, they're thinkers, and they don't just accept the crap that's handed to them. They actually do some digging and find out what's going on out here. So one other thing, and I'm gonna show y'all this one. Let me share this tab right here so y'all can see this, because this lady here.
I'll let you push past me once again. Our camera guy can zoom in here. Chicago police restoring that Secret Service barrier that some protesters were able to push down. And then if we can kind of pan over to the left, we have...
My question. We know that obviously there are people that are upset about this. You got spots of this on highlight news like this. Like you didn't get this on primetime CNN. They made sure to have a media blackout when it came to these protests so that they could give Kamala Harris the platform and the platitude that she needed to give all this crap. And in her speech, there was nothing about actually fixing anything. And what's more, fixing the border, fixing all of this stuff, everybody's critique is, why aren't you doing that now? You're in office now. Like, why can't you do what you said you're going to do then? Why can't you do it now? You have the president. You have everything that you need. And so if we're being honest, y'all, Kamala Harris is not for us. She's not for us. And that's just the sad, honest truth, y'all. We have to be discerning and we have to be radical with our thoughts. And the sad part is being honest and truthful is now radical. That's now a radical position. If you're being honest about the fact that the Democrats are the ones pushing censorship and limiting people's First Amendment rights. The Democrats are the ones fighting to keep people off of the ballot in multiple states. They're the ones that are actually fighting to keep people out of the democratic process. They're the ones that are fighting against DEI. You got the Democrats lying about COVID, lying about the different measures that needed to be taken, giving billions of dollars to these companies that did not do efficacy testing, did not do transmission testing, and lied repeatedly, and there's no accountability. People lost their businesses, people lost their lives due to lies that were told behind COVID, and there's absolutely no accountability. We see this, and everybody is seeing it. And the fact that people aren't being honest, specifically on the left, about it. And when you bring up these points, they don't want to talk about that. All they want you to do is just be afraid of Trump. Why should I be afraid of Trump when Trump isn't the one weaponizing the FBI against their political opponents? Trump isn't the one doing all of this. Now, granted, Trump said he want to give immunity to police to do their job. I don't agree with that. And again, I'm not saying Trump is the answer. As we all know, I'm not voting for either one of them. I'm voting for Dr. Cornel West, because Dr. Cornel West is the only one talking about the issues that actually relate to me and my people and my community. He's talking about mass incarceration, abolishing poverty, ending homelessness, like the things that matter, actually taking care of the people here. So when it comes down to it, y'all, we have a faction of people that are falling victim to what a friend of mine called the Charlie Brown politics, where every 4 years, Lucy's going to come out with this ball, and that's the Democratic Party. And we, as a people, are the goofy Charlie Browns that run up to go kick this ball, thinking Lucy's going to finally give us this ball that we can finally kick off and have a good time. And that fool snatched the ball every time. Why do we continue to fall for the okie doke, y'all? Why do we keep going in circles? We have to do something different. And if you're not willing to do something different and change the way you've been acting and thinking so that we can realize some change, you're a part of the problem. That's that. So all of you people that are blindly following the Kamala Harris train to hell, y'all are part of the problem. If you are not willing to hold Kamala Harris and the Democratic Party accountable for the travesties that have unfolded and the total encroachments on our civil liberties, if you're not able to actually be honest about that and hold these people accountable, you're part of the problem. You have to be honest. If we and this goes back to the health discussion that I had with the people at the Georgia Health Policy Institute. Yeah. If the doctor's going to give you the best treatment, you have to be honest about the ailment. You have to be honest about what's going on. And if we're not honest about what is ailing us as a people and as a community and where the ailments come from, then we can't have a proper diagnosis about how to fix it. And so all the delusion about, oh, Kamala Harris is somehow going to represent our interests once she gets in office, that's irresponsible and dangerous and irresponsible to continue to put your faith in Kamala Harris, in the Democratic Party, when we see that all that they're going to ever give us is symbolism. They're going to give us bread and circus. They're never going to give us substance, and they're never going to give us the tools and the resources that we need to build our own systems in our own communities and become self-determining. They are not going to do that because it is not in their best interest. It is in their best interest to keep stringing us along the way they have been. And it is in our best interest as a people to deny that foolishness and to push back against this charade. The whole foolishness that they got going on is asinine. And so what you say, Miss J, wonderful photographer, just out of curiosity, I heard that you feel that they are not for minorities, but do you believe that her opposition is? No, like I said, neither Trump or Harris is going to do anything for the Black people. The Black community has to do something different, and we have to build our own communities. We have to build our own systems, our own institutions that can be administered by us, that represent us. And so, yeah, Trump ain't gonna do that either. Like, in granted, speaking about Trump and Project 2025, like I've been saying to people, if Trump gets in and we get this wave of Republicans, which Republicans have been winning these primaries, been winning big in a lot of different states and areas. because people see the encroachment of civil liberties from the Democratic side, and the people that are willing to be honest about it aren't afraid of the other side as much, because we see the realities of what we're dealing with. But neither party has our best interests at heart. Again, like I said in the other live, millions of dollars are coming from big pharma, big tech, from big ag, big. And so they don't have room for our interests. They just simply don't. And to try and act like that isn't a fact is, again, dangerous and irresponsible. And it is continuing to just lead people to the slaughter. And it's very irresponsible on our senior leadership, Black elders and Black elders and leaders in the community that continue to feed us this BS that, oh, you have to do this, you have to vote Democrat because it's just in your best interest, when they know it's not. There's very strong words that I have for that, but we're just gonna keep it with dangerous and irresponsible. What you say, Jay, I agree. And man, please be oppositional. It's fine. If you have an opposing position, be oppositional. But I agree and certainly don't want to sound oppositional, but can we support Harris Walls while also demanding they do more ceasefire support programs? Glad you brought that up, because they don't care. They don't care. There was over 6,000 people outside of the DNC protesting, saying free Palestine. And these people got silenced. These people got beaten, arrested, maced, and all of this crap by the police. And so, no, we can't do both. We can't do both. Either you're supporting the people and supporting freedom and civil liberties, or you're supporting tyranny, Harris Walls. Those are that's the metric there, because we see what she said in her DNC speech. Yeah, what happened over in Gaza is bad, but I'm gonna keep sending bombs and weapons and money over there so they can keep doing it. Talking out of just every neck, just Jesus Christ, dog. Nah, dog. It's not possible to do that, because if you're supporting Harris Walls, you're supporting tyranny. If you're supporting Trump Vance, you're supporting tyranny. If you're supporting either Democratic or Republican Party, you're supporting tyranny, because there's no, like Omar Salam said on the last live, left wing, right wing, same bird. We know this stuff, y'all. We know it. That be the crap that get me. We know it. Let's be honest, y'all. Let's just be honest. Oh my Jesus, be honest. It's just frustrating how fear can unravel the realities in people's minds and make them susceptible to any kind of foolishness. I encourage everybody, like I said on a previous live before, please, y'all, watch the Human Resources documentary. I'm going to find that real quick. It talks about the work that went into programming human minds in the beginning of the 20th century, the funding that went into it from the Rockefellers and how they developed pretty much the modern institutions that we have today, and how they work to reduce a person's ability to think for themselves and to think creatively, and makes them reliant on a system, reliant on authority, and all of that, and how all of this was engineered by the Rockefellers and other rich people back in the late 1800s, early 1900s. It's a beautiful documentary. I encourage y'all to watch it, and it will bring eye-opening insight to what we're witnessing, because I think a lot of people are seeing trends on the net, and they're seeing, oh, how politics is dog. They can see propaganda, but there's not a real understanding of how it actually controls the minds and the behaviors of the people. And what we have is a huge propaganda machine that is funded by millions of dollars, that is manipulating the minds of the people to think that, oh, this is a safer bet, and that for whatever reason, I'll survive a little bit longer here, and that's okay. What you said, J. Ball Houston? I agree that they need to do more fully. It's a hard place to be as a voter. Yeah, you agree that they need to do more, but do you also agree that they're not going to? Do you also agree and understand that they don't care as much as we sitting here talking, because they know that we lack the leadership and the ability, the resources, the know-how, the whatever it is, to build our own institutions, to actually become a political force as a community. And so Yeah, it's not on their agenda at all. We're not on their agenda at all. They don't have room for us. So we heard it in the speech. We see it on her campaign page, campaign website, where there's no policies of any kind. But again, if we're honest about the policies that we have seen censorship. We have seen trying to force vaccinations. We've seen the weaponization of the FBI. We've seen just a number of things. The list is long, and that's just with this administration. This ain't even talking about her tenure as an attorney general in California, where now we can't even find you when you Google. Let's do this right now. When you try to Google negative information about Kamala Harris, let's see. Kamala Harris, DA, California, bad cases. Let's just all caps. Let's see what. In fact, let me share this tab. What 9 cases? Hold on. Let's see what they're talking about. Hold on. Let's see what comes up. I just grabbed the fourth one. What 9 cases from Kamala Harris's past say about her record as a California prosecutor? Let's see what they say. 1, Harris faces first test when a cop is killed. Newly that Harris declined to pursue the death penalty. Okay, yeah, I heard about this. She declined to pursue the death penalty against a cop killer. Harris office convicts the wrong man. Oh, okay, so this is actually okay. This is negative. Okay, good. So negative stuff came up. Shout out to that. The algorithms was effed up for a minute. It's okay. But talking about how the media is complicit in voter fraud and election tampering. That's a whole nother conversation to have. But the search engines and the media, by and large, we see that they're kind of donning Harris with this cap of you win. What you say? What you say, Jay? I'm gonna circle back and finish your video later today. I have a meeting coming up. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. So you have a great day. Love you, Jay. Wonderful photographer, beautiful artist. She's exceptional. Make sure y'all check out her work. She's dope. But listen, man, I'm not going to be here too much longer because, I'm beating a dead horse. I've made the points that I made, and they're all valid, and they're uncontestable. They're incontestable. And so I encourage Harris supporters to give me some feedback about, let's be honest about what we've seen. If we're willing to have an honest conversation, I'm willing to have it. But too often, people, specifically liberal left people, aren't willing to have an honest conversation about what millions of people have experienced from Kamala Harris. There's a line in I think it was Schoolboy Q. Schoolboy Q had on his latest album, he talked about if Kamala Harris lets all the bros out in Cali, he can have a party. Like, it is, people's lives have been damaged by this person, both here and abroad. And being honest about that is both responsible. It is encouraging. It's what you're supposed to do if you're actually trying to hold your leaders accountable. And if you want a system that actually represents you and your interests and actually listens to you, then it is right to levy critique and to demand better representation and a better administration as far as how you sending this money, where you're sending these bombs. Namibia over in Africa denied a ship its port because it was bound for Israel and it had explosives on it. Namibia says, no, we're not going to be complicit in genocide in any way. They're not taking, they're not saying that they're for Gaza or against Israel, but they're just saying we're not going to be complicit in what y'all got going on. And that is an honorable stance to take. That's the stance that millions of Americans want America to take, as opposed to continuing to fund death, both over in Gaza, over in Ukraine. And another point was made when I was listening to an interview with Tulsi Gabbard that said, because Harris is a woman, she may feel the need to assert herself once she gets in office to show that she's powerful and she's not to be messed with, and she may start another war. She may start another conflict. Granted, I'm not fear-mongering. I'm not trying to make you say, oh, whatever. But what I am saying is that was an idea that was proposed by another woman who has been in office, who's been in Congress. Tulsi Gabbard was, of course, from Hawaii, and she's also been in the armed forces. So she is actually against, the wars as well. She's for ending or a ceasefire, ending sending funding and bombs over there. But what you say, Abner Stevens? That this has been going on since day one on both sides, and it's not going to stop. It will not stop if we continue to feed it, if we continue to perpetuate the crap. And that's the thing. So my conundrum is that when you get people alone, it don't matter who they are, they're willing to admit that fact. But then you get them out in public and in front of everybody, and they get scared, and they go back to, no, we got to support this ticket. We got to do this because the alternative is too scary. Where are our leaders? Where's the real leadership, y'all? If we have any leaders that are proposing that you vote for Harris, they're not a leader. Point blank, period. If a leader, if an elected official anywhere, wherever, is telling you that you need to vote for Harris, they are not a leader, because they are leading you straight to hell in a handbasket, or at least around the circles of the circle of fire of hell. You're gonna walk around that big pit of fire till you fall in, because you're gonna be dizzy from going in circles doing the same crap every election. I encourage you, beautiful, bright-minded people, to continue to dissect the crap that they are feeding you. Continue to dissect the fact that the media, how the media is being used to both silence one side of people and one group of people and encourage another. Why are they not talking about how the Democrats are fighting tooth and nail to try and keep Dr. Cornel West off of ballots in multiple states? The Republicans aren't doing that. And again, I'm not saying that they're the answer. I'm not saying that the Republicans are saviors. I think Black conservatives are politically immature to say, oh, I'm awakened now because I realize that the liberal left are not our friends. So I'm going to skip over here to the right with these people who made it known they ain't my friend. That's stupid. Black conservatives are politically immature. Once you evolve from that thinking, once you realize, okay, both of these are a bad situation for me, then you graduate to realizing, oh, we have to create our own systems. We have to create our own political systems, our own financial systems, our own educational systems, our own criminal justice systems, our own food systems, our own everything, doggone it. That is political graduation. Black conservatives need to grow up in their thinking. That's just the sad truth. You all need to grow up, because Trump ain't gonna save you. Okay, Trump might, again, he'll keep certain wolves off, but this fool says he wants to give cops immunity to continue to kill Black people. Sonia Massey just happened, and there was another young lady I just heard about that got shot through a window in Illinois or some junk like that. Man, like, come on, y'all, come on. They did the exact same thing to RFK. Yeah, they did the same. The RFK died, like, because listen, they're not interested in democracy. Let's be honest, y'all. Let's be honest. Oh, goodness. I just got to breathe. I got to take a minute. I might go to commercial and come back. I don't know. But what you say? See, both sides BS. Exactly. Both sides. And so about your boy supporting Trump, RFK supporting Trump, I got so many thoughts about that. Granted, I like it. I'm not upset about it. I like it. Because the truth be told, I'm actually more afraid of a Harris-Walz administration. I'm more afraid of that than I am of a Trump administration. Point blank, period. And it's because of the things that I've already said in this live, whereby we see gross encroachments on civil liberties from this administration. We see gross mishandling of the border, gross mishandling of the economy. We see it, and if we're not being honest about what we're experiencing, then we're going to continue to feed into the death and the doom that we are experiencing. Now, granted, do I think Trump is going to make it any better? No, but I feel like he will slow the steam. He'll slow the death process by a little bit, because he's the one talking about ending the wars. He's the one talking about backing crypto, backing Bitcoin. Those things are good. So I can't deny that Trump has actually put forward positive policy points. Kamala Harris has not put forth any positive policy points. And honesty, y'all, radical honesty is what's needed here to absorb the things that I'm expressing. And I get it. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes, oh my gosh. But we can be honest about the fact that Trump has good policy points. Harris has none that I'm aware of. If she has some policy points, please share them with me in the chat. But what that does say is that we ain't in there. We ain't in there. So Black people, if we're going to be honest, if we're going to be, and here's the thing too, Black liberation as an idea, for whatever reasons, has seemed to dissipate into nothingness. That used to be a phrase that you heard often, Black liberation, because we saw ourselves as still imprisoned here. And there's a quote by Johann Wolfgang von Goetz, whatever his last name is, I forget. I'm sorry, Goff, German fellow. He said, "None are more hopelessly enslaved than those who falsely believe they are free." I'm going to repeat that again for everybody. None are more hopelessly enslaved than those who falsely believe that they are free. I need y'all to absorb those words and think about where you feel you're free and where you feel you're not. Examine where you feel like you have support, specifically politically. Examine where you feel like you do have representation and dissect that a bit. How many of your people, by and large, in mass, I'm talking about the community, not just a few exceptional ones, how many people in your community have a savings account? How many Black people in your community, or just your people in your community, have, an LLC, a family LLC, a trust fund? If we can't, and so using the same measure that I talked about in the live last night about Phoebe, the way you can gauge the impact of a health system on a community is by gauging the overall health of the community. And similarly, the way we can gauge, the political, I guess, progress and prowess of a group is how free and happy are the people in this community. Are they being served? Are their needs being met? Are people actually able to save and determine their own futures in this community? We know that that's not the case for millions of people. We know it. Specifically here in Albany, talking to Albany, y'all. And again, we can strip away several layers and get down to the meat of what you said, Joy. I'm missing the comments. What you said, T.O.? She has none. And if she's taking a position from what the Biden-Harris administration has done, then that sucks. The Dems want us to think she's the best choice. Exactly. What you say? No, you're living Biden here. Exactly. What you say, Joy Fair? I don't fully support Harris because I feel if she didn't stand against certain things while with Biden, she won't stand any different without him. Thank you for being a bright, discerning, thinking person. You know, magna program, dog. Magna program. We good. We good. Our brain good. Look, high in the middle, Lincoln, we good. I don't know about the rest of y'all. The one with Lake Park, Magnolia. I don't know nothing about y'all. Y'all, Martin Luther King Elementary. Y'all the ones we got to care for. Y'all the ones that's effing up. Y'all that went to South Side, Middle, and Mary Acres. Y'all ain't go to Highland and Robert Cross. Y'all don't know nothing. So we got to tell y'all how to think out here. Shout out to Manning Program. What'd you say? I didn't state that she had great policies. Yeah. Nah, so listen, man. Shout out to the thinkers, because if we're not actually being honest about this, then we're not actually honest about Black liberation. And so that's the point I was making. The Black liberation movement and the idea of it seems to have faded away and dissipated. It's been melted into this DEI, and now we have to go back to this integration. But if we remember the evolved thoughts of Dr. Martin Luther King, he went from preaching about integration to saying, making the quote, "I fear I have integrated my people into a burning building." That was Dr. King. That was when he was able to evolve and graduate his thought processes. When he was thinking more immediately, he was thinking, hey, we need access. We need to get in and get access to these spaces. But once he got in and started to make inroads and to see further down the road of how things would develop, he realized that that was a mistake and that we needed to do something different. We need to rebuild our own institutions. And if we're not honest about rebuilding our institutions and who is going to be there to help us with it, i.e. Democratic or Republican Party, neither one of them, third party politics, we'll talk about it, then I lost my train of thought. What'd you say, Joy? I just understand the policies take time to fully see the effect. We need to stop focusing so highly on presidential election and get in it. Why, listen, let's flip the table. They're right. We need to get in these local elections, dog. I'm telling you. So great pivot, because I'm at a 30-minute mark. I wasn't even supposed to be here this long. But talking about these local elections and how they impact everything else. So recently, what was it? David Sampson, state rep for 153, Mr. Teddy Reese, and two other folks were on this committee to talk about DEI. And apparently they're taking this tour around the state, talking to different cities about DEI and how it's impacted folks. And so everybody, of course, was, saying, oh, DEI is good, it's helpful, and this, that, or the other. And we know we had affirmative action before. When we were growing up, it was affirmative action. And now it's DEI. But the points that were made were good points, i.e., if you're going to be pushing DEI, it has to be more about gaining access to spaces. It actually has to be about redoing the mind state of people, making people equity in many different ways is what they were saying. I got up there and said, look, we don't need no DEI. We need to, like Terrence Fowler just put, rebuild our own institutions is what point that I made. And this lady got upset because I've got the passion. I got to talking. I said Obama was my wake-up call to DEI, because when we got DEI in Obama, I'm thinking we finna get representation, but by and large, Black people still suffering and Black people still getting killed by the police. And I made the mistake of calling Obama a fool. And I said, that fool ain't do nothing. She got mad. She just wanted to cut me off or something. She said, I'm not going to let you call our president a fool. I said, look, ma'am, I didn't mean it as I wouldn't call him a name. I'm just talking. Like don't interrupt me again. And then George Baller was in there. George Baller saying, so people turning up their faces because I was telling the truth about the fact that the Democratic Party, and specifically Kamala Harris, is not going to do anything about our community. They didn't like that. And then shout out to Clinton Banks Vicks, who got up after me and supported my points and said, look, you may not like the delivery. You may not like how it's presented, but that doesn't change the truthfulness in the statements. Shout out to my boy, dog. And then Sherelle got on after that and hit him again with a beautifully eloquent list of points about how we're not getting the diversity, equity, and inclusion that we've been promised years and year after year. And so said all that to say, our local representatives have access. They have access to the federal money, to the federal positions and different things. And they're accessible. We can access them. They can access higher. So we need to be aware of who's running and who's doing what. David Sampson was there, and we didn't speak directly, but he did correct the lady on how to say my last name. Shout out to that. But we still have not yet talked about this record. And we're going to, because Terrence Fowler is supporting Brenda Battle's campaign. And Brenda Battle, of course, is running against David Sampson on the Republican ticket for State Rep 153, one of our local races that will be on this November election. So David Sampson, from what I know, I believe he still has not proposed a bill. I have to go look and see. I could be wrong, but I ain't checked in a while. But look at this fool. Look at this fool. Get out of here. Get out of here. Brenda Battle, no. The answer is no. And no. But sadly, my answer is no for David Sampson too at this point, if in fact he has not proposed a bill. In that DEI congressional committee talk, I asked them, I said, will a bill come of this? What is the result of these talks? Because they weren't broadcast publicly. They were taking this footage because it was recorded and all, and they're going to take it back there to their committee to discuss. I said, is a bill going to be written up? What's supposed to happen? And she said that apparently the Republicans are setting up to put forth a lot of anti-DEI bills and they're queuing up to try and fight them. And so they're getting statements and things to add to whatever policy suggestions that they have come the next round of bills. I think there, and I know it's our education system is to blame, but there is a huge lack and a gap in creative solutions, in creative thinking from our leadership. They're not able to maneuver, and they're taught to just hammer and hammer and hammer away at the same thing again and again without any semblance of results. And we all know that that's foolishness. We all know that that's inefficient and it's just dumb. Our leadership, while I'm going to assume is well-meaning, is weak, and they don't have a backbone. Because like I said, when I get people alone, I can pull a Freddie Powell Sims to the side, and I can say, Freddie Powell Sims, come on now, what you know, your generation marched, and she could get to the point where to be like, you know what, you're right, Adam, but will not. And again, this is theoretical. This ain't a conversation that we've had, but I'm extremely confident that is how that conversation would go. But she's not able to take that stance publicly. I got a sack, and I take these stances publicly, and I go into these meetings, and I go into these arenas, and I tell these people, look, your thinking is backwards. You got us going in circles when we already have actionable solutions that you could be funding, but you'd rather have a dinner and a forum and invite people out to have the, cake and tea and all this other crap, and we sit and watch a PowerPoint and then we go home and everybody's still suffering. That junk is done. We done with that. We done. What you say, Joy? There are still people, I think, that we forget that these are not gods. Exactly. They can't snap their fingers and make the change. There's that. We keep looking for one person to change everything, and we need an army of change makers to see real-time change. God dang it, you own it, Joy Farrell. Talk to him. Talk to him this morning, Joy. Listen, that's Matt the program right there. That's Matt. Shout out to that. You're exactly right. We need people power, y'all. We need people power. And the only way to do that is to make sure that people are aware and awakened from the propaganda stupor that millions of people are in. There is a very strong and concerted effort, as we know, by the media to control the minds of the masses. We know it. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's verified fact. We know that the news programs that we have, CNN, Fox, MSNBC, is not news. They are paid actors. We know it. There have been court cases. We know the facts. In acknowledging these facts, it serves our best interest if we hold them in the light that they are in. Who that fit? Been feeling this thing, man. Leaking in this thing. Shout out to Bus 82 down. Shout out to Miss Carter down. Listen, leaking in this thing. Don't distract me. Don't distract me. You so silly. Listen, look, now, but we know that. You done threw me. You done threw me off. I don't know what I was saying. Shout out to that, man. Listen, Doc, and you ain't for governor. Listen, I'm with it. And you ain't for governor, Congress, and president. I don't even want to go to president. I don't even want to go that high. Governor, I'll take governor. But look, y'all, I'm not going to keep beating this dead horse. I'm so proud of my magnet program people that are in here who can think for themselves, because we were taught to think creatively, okay? At Lincoln and Highland, listen, we had projects that was just good and fun. We had, what? Shout out to all the principals that loved me even when I was acting up because my parents was teachers elsewhere and I got away with certain stuff. Good times. Look, y'all, I gotta go because I actually got to do some work here at the shop. I appreciate y'all for tuning in the discussion that we've had. Again, I encourage you, beautiful thinking people, to continue to discern, continue to dissect the crap that they are feeding us in this media and realize that there are layers to unpack, and you cannot just be afraid of this because they want you to be afraid. They told us to be afraid of COVID. They told us to wear masks, and they told us to wear 2 masks, then triple mask. And then you got to get this vaccine, and then the 3rd vaccine, and then 18th vaccine. They told us all this crap. And none of it was real. None of it was reality, y'all. So shout out to Twitter, and again, I don't support Elon Musk, but shout out to the fact that Twitter is an agent that pushed against the censorship that was pushed by the Democrats. I don't support the way Elon moves and different things that he does. I do support his commitment to civil liberties and the right to free speech. But anyway, let me wrap up, y'all. I love y'all tremendously. I have faith in y'all because we're smart here, and the smart ones that are receiving this message. When ish goes to hell, let's build our own communities, y'all. We know what we got. We know we have the tools and the resources. Let's be leaders because we lack leadership right now heavily. Beautiful. What else? Oh, hold on. I was supposed to tell y'all about something that was going on. Hold on. There was a meeting. And I closed the dang tab. It's okay. I'm going to share it in the Albany Forward group, y'all. Join the Albany Forward group. Let me get out of here and get to work. 2 fingers.